In King of the Hill it can take quite a long time to level up, so as you're doing so you'll have to go through a few weapons that you probably won't want to use to a high enough level to use your preferred weapons. Now as you're going through the levels you're probably going to wonder which gun and which scope is best at which level. If you go to the official King of the Hill website, I'll put a link in the description. If you go to this website, there's actually some useful information here, and one of the things is the King of the Hill wiki in the top right here. In the King of the Hill wiki there's a few links to some useful information, including the Discord, the changelogs, and of course vanilla equipment details. We're interested in the weapons for this video, so let's click on weapons. And here you can see a list of every weapon in King of the Hill. Okay, now if you're interested in using a machine gun, you will need the Machine Gunner Perk. However, the Machine Gunner Perk is only available from level 9 onwards. The heavier weapons becomes quite an issue if you want to use a launcher. Like I often use the MOS launcher, so if I was to say use a MOS launcher and a Zafir, that's quite a lot of weight to carry around. Now where you need the marksman perk to have a decent scope on it as well, I wouldn't use the fatigue perk because I need the machine gunner perk, I need the launcher perk for the rocket launcher, and I need the marksman perk to have a decent scope on it. I would like to use the fatigue, but those other perks are more important, so the fatigue perk gets put to the sidelines for now. Now the advantage with the machine guns, although they're heavy, you can use the spray and pray technique, which is actually what I would suggest people do when using a machine gun as well. I think machine guns are most effective when people make use of the large mags by using extended bursts of fire. So yeah, be really aggressive, fire a lot of bullets, try and shoot them through walls and doors and windows and stuff. And yeah, they're also good for shooting vehicles as well, machine gunner, but again, fire lots and lots of shots. And the first weapon in the machine gunner range is also available at level 9, and that being the MX with 100 round magazines. It's the lightest of the guns that you can use with the machine gunner perk. Although it does have less rounds, the weight is definitely a major factor when using a machine gun, so the MX is actually quite suitable for a lot of people. If you're using the perks in the same way as me there, then the MX is definitely one that you may want to consider. Level 16 you unlock the Mk200 6.5mm caliber machine gun with 200 round mags. I believe that's the highest round count that any of the guns has. And the Mk200 can also be suppressed, making it extremely useful. I did use this gun a bit when I've been playing King of the Hill, but personally I prefer the Zafir. The Zafir becomes unlockable at level 20. And that's a 7.62 caliber, very powerful, very big magazines. The main advantage of these big magazines though really is for taking on multiple opponents. So say you like running around in the priority area, quite often you can find yourself running into multiple opponents. Also in the towers, for example, you get like multiple opponents attacking towers at the same time, and you can fire off 150 shots without having to reload. That's extremely useful in those heavy situations, which do happen a lot in King of the Hill. And yeah, the Zafir is probably one of my favourite machine guns. I do prefer the Navid, but I tend to use the Zafir more because the Navid's just really heavy. But as it's 7.62, you can actually hit targets at very good range, so I really do recommend using at least an RCO. Of course, you're going to have to be level 26 before you can have an RCO on the Zafir. MOS is not bad, the iron sight's not really ideal for a machine gun, but it's still pretty good when that's your only option for a long range optic. The only other one I'd consider really is the DMS, but you're going to have to be level 30 before you can put DMS on your Zafir. And of course my favourite scope generally is the AMS, but you know, plus 20 levels to unlock an AMS on any gun, so you're looking at level 40 before you can put an AMS on the Zafir, unfortunately. But yeah, Zafir is a gun I've used a lot, that's one I highly recommend. And then at level 28 you can unlock the SPAR 16 with drum mag. Again, extremely useful to have such a high bullet count in the gun, although 5.56 is quite a low caliber, but as I say, lightweight, extremely useful for something like taking towers where you're going to be running into multiple enemies. You can just keep shooting without having to reload. Personally, I would choose the Zafir over the SPAR 16 with drum mag. I'd probably actually choose the Mk200 over the SPAR 16 with drum mag as well myself, but you know, I quite like heavy loadouts. I'm not really too bothered about carrying something light. At level 35 you can unlock the SPMG. Now the SPMG is an extremely powerful machine gun, second only to the Navid in terms of the amount of damage that it does. Absolutely annihilates infantry and is also very good at shooting vehicles. The Zafir, being 7.62, is also good at shooting vehicles. You can actually shoot through the windscreen of a Strider. Might take a few shots. The SPMG will shoot through the windscreen of a Strider with even less shots than the Zafir. SPMG can be suppressed, and you can hit targets at up to 1 kilometer and even further, so extremely accurate. Has a single shot fire option as well, so you combine the SPMG with an MOS, that'll be level 40 before you can put an MOS on the SPMG. And yeah, that's the MOS is the long range scope with 2.5 to 5 times, if you remember. However, of course, you do need the marksman perk to fit that on there, so SPMG with an MOS is going to require the machine gunner perk and the marksman perk. The RCO and similar scopes are not too bad for an SPMG, however personally I would choose the MOS or the DMS. Again, DMS plus 10 levels, so level 45 before you can put a DMS on the SPMG. But my favourite scope for that gun is the AMS, plus 20 levels, so level 55 before you can put an AMS on the SPMG, unfortunately. The ultimate machine gun, and probably the most powerful gun in the game, not including the APDS links, is the Navid. The Navid is unlockable at level 50. It's an extremely powerful weapon. It shoots through almost all walls, and personally I like to use it for taking out vehicles. It's extremely useful for taking out ground vehicles and helicopters. If you put the burst fire mode on, that's when I find it's most useful for shooting helicopters. It doesn't actually have a single shot. The rate of fire seems to be higher in burst fire than full auto, so if I wanted to fire a single shot, I'd put the gun in full auto and just try and tap the mouse button really quickly, and you can do single shots like that. Might get the occasional double, triple burst, but you can still use that technique to be quite accurate with the Navid. SPMG and the Navid can be suppressed, making them extremely lethal. In my opinion, the SPMG and the Navid probably shouldn't be allowed to be suppressed in King of the Hill. I mean, you can't put a suppressor on the Zafir, the 7.62, so yeah, I'd like to see suppressor not available for SPMG and Navid in King of the Hill. I did actually used to use Navid all the time, though I kind of got bored of it. But that pretty much covers the recommended machine gunner perk guns. Again, there's a few other guns available. I do not like to use the other guns myself, but I know that some people do, so make sure you check out some of the other guns if you are interested in the machine gunner perk weapons, just to see what you like or not. But yeah, anyway, I hope you find that useful. Check out the website yourself, there's a lot of useful information on there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, hopefully I'll see you next time. Take it easy.